Hi, Arthur Murray family. This is Hunter Maria Johnson from Arthur Murray Cyprus. We're the Arthur Murray Smooth Champions, Open to the World Smooth Champions, and 7-time U.S. finalists. I'm also the Area 5 Chairman.
In this edition of Arthur's Footsteps, we're going to be working on how to learn and use our three-dimensional lines in our dancing.
Are you guys ready? Here we go.
You can see I've placed some tape on my floor. Okay, this is to start seeing how our diagonals of what we call the box around our personal space works. Okay, so I recommend that the best way to practice these lines is to get either have a mirror in front of you or at least be parallel flat to a wall so that you can really see your space and your lines around you. Okay, so we've got that started. Now our first thing that we're going to do is talk about how we start dancing. When you walk in the dance studio and you had your first lesson, and your first few lessons actually really, because your teacher just wanted you to pick your arms up and be nice and still and have nice T-line across your elbows, right? So you're nice and square, okay? So we're just trying to learn how to hold this position, whether I'm a man or a lady. So you can see man, lady. We just kind of flip those arms backwards and up and down, okay? So we have our hinges there working. All right, so let's also review our 3 blocks of our body parts. Okay, so our first block that we're going to talk about to create 3 lines is that I am in here. I'm going to get right in the middle of my box. Okay, but my first block is my head. Okay, so my head can go left, right, up, down, back, and around. Okay, also a good exercise if you've been at your computer all day long is just to kind of loosen up your neck there a little bit. All right, our second block is our middle block or our body block, and that's from my shoulders to my hip bones. Okay, and so this is my center block that's going to turn in one piece. Okay, so I don't want to be twisting around my waist with this. I want to try and keep my shoulders and my hips to where they can turn. So a good way to practice that if you have pants with pockets is to put your hands in your pockets and just kind of rotate your center or your spine just about 1/8 to the right or 1 click on that kitchen timer. Remember your parents' old kitchen timers, maybe your grandma's? Some of you are too young to remember those kind of timers because now they're all digital on our ovens. But right now, we'll go back in time. If you have to Google it, Google it. You can click a little bit, 1 click, maybe to 2 clicks, right and left. But you can see I haven't turned all the way to a wall. That's too far. I'm just going to my corners. All right, and then our third block is our legs. Okay, so our leg block is from our hip joints down. And I can just swivel from my feet down. Okay, so if you remember in anatomy class, we hang that skeleton in our legs, kind of just hang there. You're just moving from your leg joints and the hip sockets there. Don't actually turn your whole pelvis. That's too much. So you see my belt buckle. If I'm moving my leg block and my belt buckle moves, that's too much. That's the middle block, okay? So again, I'm just twisting in the hip socket, 1/8 and 1/8. So if you also look at my tape, I'm only going to those angles, okay? So I'll come a little bit closer so you can see. I'm going to the angle here, back to center, and the angle here, okay? I don't want to go all the way to a wall. If I go all the way to a wall, I'm going to have to move my center block, okay? And I want these 3 blocks to be working sometimes together and sometimes independently. All right, now let's talk about how we start to use this in our dance position. All right, so let's start working about learning 3-dimension in our basic dance position. And this is mostly going to be for your smooth dances to create more position and a wider top line for you. Okay, when we first walk in the door, again, our teachers just want us to hold our elbows up, having a nice T from elbow to elbow straight across. So if we were to draw a line up and down our spine and across our elbows, whether the man or the lady, right? Ladies, we have to create a T as well. We forget that sometimes. This is our position. And as you can see, I'm just one-dimensional right now. Okay, I'm lined up straight up and down. I've got a T and a T. So again, my nose block is pretty much my head block straight over on top of my center block. This is the important block, okay? The center block right now, my shoulders and my hips are straight in the line with my toes, okay? So again, we hear this a lot, nose over toes. That's usually a good rule of thumb with anything you're dancing. But right now, again, I'm pretty much nose over my toes. And my center, I'm nice and square. Okay? This is great through the beginning couple of levels because we're learning a lot about footwork, we're learning about timing, and in our Arthur Murray interrelated system, there's a lot to learn in those first couple of bronze levels. And so adding dimension to our shape, we don't really talk about shape that much yet, okay? And so for a good associate bronze dancer, being here or here is a really great position. Now we want to make more of that, okay? So the first exercise, again, if you have hands in your pockets, you can do this. If not, just put them down by your sides, okay? We're going to take our center block and we're going to turn it 1/8 of a degree to our corner. You can see my spine is now facing that line on the floor, or visually in your own room, you're basically at the corner, okay? Now what you see that I did not do, I did not turn my nose and I did not turn my toes, okay? So again, for basic dance position, I take, to get two-dimensional, I take and turn my center block, tick, to that corner. That's all I do. Okay, so we've gone from 1 dimension to 2 dimensions. Now we're going to learn how to do to 3 dimensions by adding just a little bit more with our nose and our head block. Okay, so again, either way, hands on thighs helps you just feel that you're turning the parts together correctly. So again, for basic dance position, we're going to turn our center block, our 1 tick or 1/8 of a turn to the right. So we're kind of facing the corner almost, or that line if you were able to create a line on your floor. Okay, now we're going to take and we're going to shape. So I'm here, I'm going to shape my head as the lady up and left a little more. So you can see I actually did turn my nose just a tad to the left off of my toes, but not drastically. Okay, I don't want to be looking over to the left that way. If I can see the other wall, I definitely turned way too far. Okay, so again, if I'm doing the lady's part, I did a tick here, and I'm going to stretch or incline my head over my elbow. That's always a good way to think about it. You want to still be able to see your watch out of the corner of your eye. If you can't see your watch on your left hand, then you've turned your head too far. Okay? I also want to make sure, I'm going to turn this way for a minute so you can see. I want to make sure I don't take my shoulders or my head weight back at all. Okay, so watch it from the side. Okay, I'm going to turn and I'm going to stretch. So this is nice. My head would still be over the man's hand on my back. I'm stretching up and left diagonally here. Okay, so you can see if my arms went out, this is my diagonal. That's going to come into play in a little bit. The main thing I want to make sure that I don't do, okay, is that I don't do this and I don't stretch this way. Okay, that's when I come off balance. Okay, now the next level I can add to this would be for more of a silver or a higher level gold dancer. I can take here, I can do my turn, I can do my stretch, and I can do a little projection forward to the man. That can also allow me, as I add that forward projection to the man, a little bit more release of the top of the head weight because I've now balanced myself forward and have a little bit more stretch out. That's a very advanced concept, so I really ask only the advanced ladies to kind of look at that section. All right, Arthur Murray, we're now going to take our 3 dimensions into our lines of like an explosion line, which is something we use for change of places, tango, Viennese waltz, explosion lines, anywhere where we're side by side with our partner and we have rotation. So let's go. We're going to stand on our right foot this time to start with. We'll stand right in the middle of my square though. So if I were to change places to the other side, I've moved over here. All right, and I've changed places back. All right, so just like we started before, we're going to take our center block and we're going to turn it 1 tick to the right. So I've turned 1/8 of a degree to the right, spine facing the corner here. Okay, now if you notice, I did not turn my nose and I did not turn my toes. I just turned my center block. Okay, so this is now 2-dimensional. You can see my hands did have to turn a little bit with that, right? So my airplane arms here are nice and square. They're not up and down yet, are they? Okay, so that's important. Okay, now, so I've come back. Okay, if we practice that on the other foot, we're on our left foot with our right foot pointed. Our right foot hand would be with our partner. Our left hand would be the free hand. Okay, if you're a girl, you can be as articulate as you want. If you're a guy, Superman hands are the best. All right, so again, 1 dimension, everything, all 3 blocks are lined up top to bottom. I'm going to turn 1 tick to the left. We haven't practiced this as much because dance position doesn't actually use this turn this way. So this is a good one to practice a little extra on this side, okay? So again, I have a center, I turn one tick to the left, I'm now 2 dimensions, okay? So you can see my hands are actually gonna point to the corners. You see those lines around there? My hands are at that because they're actually still lined up with the shoulders, okay? So it's very important that I didn't turn and not turn my hands. So I keep my back connected to my lats and everything in that center block turns. Okay, make sure you don't just turn part of it. Okay, you can see with my belt buckle that would only be turning my waist. That's not what we want. We want the whole center block to tick 1/8 to the left. So I'm at that corner now. So you can see I'm here. So that's my 2 dimensions. All right? Now we'll go back and we're going to go to 3 dimensions now. So now I'm going to, just like I did in dance position, I'm going to allow my top block to have some mobility. Okay? So I'll start on my right foot again, left foot pointed. Right? We turn to the right. That's 2 dimensions. All right? Now you can see my nose, we're still looking at you, aren't I? I'm going to turn my nose to look at my left hand. So now I'm 3-dimensional. I've got one block going this way, one block going this way, and one block going this way. All right, I still have not turned my toes at all. That is very, very key. Okay, would be a not great way to create this, where I turn everything. Okay, you can see how my arms are now flat. They're no longer in the diagonal of my box, they're at the new wall. That's way, way over-rotated. Okay? So let's put this with a pattern. Actually, we didn't practice 3-dimension to the left, did we? Okay, so stand on your left foot, right toe pointed, 1 dimension, nice and square. 2, we turn the center block. 3, we let the right nose go over the right hand. So I'm diagonal.
Now we want to show you what this looks like as a partnership. Again, we're both faced with 1 dimension. Our nose, our spine, our feet are facing the same direction. If we put up our arms like this, and we're going to go to 2 dimensions here, we're both going to turn. I'm turning 1/8 to the left, and Maria's turning 1/8 to the right. Okay? Now, as we turn our head, we're going to find that we find our 3 dimensions. If now we do a change here, we're going to stop our feet first. Once we stop our feet at 1 dimension, you notice we're 1 dimension. Then we'll go to 2, then we'll point our leg, and we'll go to 3. As that continues and you get better at this, you want to be able to stop the feet, let the body continue to turn, then look at your line. You can see how we are 3 dimensions on all that. And we continue to try to do that. We always want to finish with the 3 dimensions. Now we've got a little stick here that we like to put through our belt loops, and this gives us a chance to see the visual effect of what we're doing here. These are some of the most common mistakes that people make when doing these 3 dimensions. And what Maria's going to do here, as you can see, this is controlled through her center block. Yes? As she goes to her 3rd dimension, and she rotates, as you can see, everything is still on the same line. The hips are facing one direction at the corners, and the hands are facing the other. One of the most common things is that we let the hips go too much. Or the hips are good and the arms are too much. This is the most common mistake that we see. We're going to do this from the side also. We're going to do it from another angle here. So she's 1 dimension, she goes to 2 dimension, she goes to 3 dimensions. Good. Very nice. Everything is at the angles in the corner. Her center is facing that corner. Her head weight is facing this corner. Hips and shoulders are facing. Most common mistake that happens is over-rotating the hips, or, this is the one I see the most, over-rotating the body. You see now how it's not set up and balanced, okay? So this little stick allows us to make sure that we're not over-rotating through the center, or that there are both the blocks as they rotate are rotating at the same time.
Okay, so we've given you a lot of different exercises as to how to create a 3-dimensional line. Now I'm going to take it a little bit further for a more advanced styling of these extension lines. And so we're going to take that again. We start with on our right foot, point our left foot, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. You can see as I turn to 3 dimension, my knee will flex. That right knee will flex towards the angle that I've turned my spine. So you can see everything. I still didn't turn my toe that way. Okay, my toe didn't move at all. My right foot didn't move. But I did let that knee flex to the direction that the spine rotated to. It's very important to let that little bit of flex go. Because that, as we go to style further, I'm here, I'm here. If I want more line out of it, then what I'm going to do, one thing I want to make sure I don't do is just break. That's what we see a lot. So you can see there's a break in my side. My sides through all of this maintain, my box maintains. I don't have a break anywhere in any side as I create these lines. That's a very important concept to make sure you understand. Everything is now created for more by flexing the knee forward, okay, towards the energy of the diagonal, and then letting the head stretch. This will also, I can expand my sternum a little bit to open up and expand, but I haven't broken anything. Okay, so watch that from the side. Okay, I turn, I start to stretch, and then I continue stretching. So again, without a partner, I'm very balanced. If I start breaking something or breaking something or breaking something, I'll have to start pulling on my partner, and they won't really like that. I'm going to do it to the left so we can practice. The other key thing, watch my toe that's pointed, okay? So again, I start here, 1 dimension. I tick to my left, here, 2 dimension, and now my nose and my knee, just a little flex, 3 dimension. Now as I keep flexing, look at my right toe. It can actually push towards my partner to balance me as well. So again, I'm always looking to counterbalance my body. So as something goes forward, something went back. If something progressed and pushed kind of or stretched forward, my head and my sternum went back. Okay, so you can see, and again from the side, you can see I'm very well balanced. I can do this without a partner, which is why it's also really good to practice, because you don't want to pull on your partner for this kind of move. You want to be with your partner, but not pulling on them. So again from the side, 1, 2, 3, and then more here. Okay? I don't want to break, I don't want to turn, I don't want to knock over anything. Okay, so again, very important, and then you'll have a really nice balanced finished 3-dimensional line.
We'd like to thank you guys for joining us at Arthur's Footsteps. Today's topic, 3-dimensional lines.
And as Catherine Murray used to say, put a little fun in your life.
Try dancing!